This is not authentic Hainanese food. It was prepared by the Hainanese immigrant cooks for the Europeans back in the day. But this is also not authentic Hainanese food. It was invented in this part of the world when the Hainanese were exposed to the influences of Malay cooking. Now this is also not authentic Hainanese food. It was their go-to dish to cook after immigrating and setting up shop in a foreign land. But as we have explored in the chicken rice series, the dish has now evolved beyond what you might find in Hainan. Then what is Hainanese food, Eldrick? Good question. To answer that, I have come to the home of the Hainanese, Hainan Island, and in this video we'll be exploring only dishes quintessential to the Hainan cuisine. And then next you might ask, Eldrick, you changed currency already or not? Bad question. Cash in China in the big 2026? What is this, the Qing dynasty? Everyone knows that you can get around the whole countries with the magical QR codes, otherwise known as Saoma. But the important thing is that the card that you link to your, say, Alipay needs to have good rates for the Chinese yuan. That's where I use my Revolut. Revolut has recently improved their exchange rate for SGD to Chinese yuan, along with other popular regional currencies. I locked in a great rate before touching down, so that while I pay with my Alipay or WeChat, I know the rate that I'm paying at. For Hainanese food number 0, we are at Wenchang Tengji for Qing Bu Liang. This, as you can see, is a cold dessert. There are a lot of variations for it. I ordered their signature, and there's like a ton of ingredients with it. Grass jelly, normal jelly, watermelon, white fungus, green bean, red... Okay, let's just try. This is like Bobo Chacha's cousin. Or if someone is working at the common dessert shops and they don't know what to add, then just add everything. You see remnants of green bean, red bean, cheng keng, jendo, grass jelly. I particularly like the watermelon, it's so clever because when you add watermelon, the water inside the watermelon gets displaced by the coconut base. I know you might be wondering, Eldrick, you discount all those earlier examples and then you recommend a shopping mall dessert. That's what I thought too, but two things. One, it's really growing on me. This is the second or third time I'm having this already. And two, Qing Bu Liang is beloved by the Hainanese. You take a walk around here, you scroll through Meituan, there are dozens of Qing Bu Liang stalls. And then your follow-up question might be, Eldrick, have you gotten insurance for this trip? Nah, I'm too lazy. But with Revolut Metal, you get complimentary global emergency medical insurance up to 200,000 for you and your spouse. Both of you just need to purchase at least 50% of your return tickets using your Revolut. It's not so much the cost of the travel insurance for me, but always needing to fill up some form or notifying someone before I fly is so troublesome. With Revolut Metal, coverage is instant and automatic once you purchase your return travel tickets using your Revolut. But there are some things insurance cannot cover, like facing long queues at immigration. It wasn't this trip, but a recent trip. I had to wait an hour and a half for immigration. I really wish I knew about Revolut's Airport Fast Track. With this, you can get someone to pick you up before immigration and usher you to an express lane so that you can get through immigration faster. This feature can be found in the Lifestyle tab in the Revolut app. You can purchase up to 6 airport fast tracks at any one time in over 100 airports. We're almost at the first spot, so get $50 if you're in the first 200 people to sign up for Revolut and spend once using the QR code here or the link in the video description. Alright, I'm hungry, let's get some food. We are now at Jiaji for something that I purposely avoided during the chicken rice series, coconut chicken. So this is sort of a hot pot dish, and you all might recognize this in Hai Di Lao, one of the newer hot pot bases that they added. It's a bunch of ingredients with the liquid of 3 whole coconuts, not a drop of water. And to it, they add the Wenchang chicken, which I ordered a half chicken. From boiling, they set a timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes! That is not a lot of time. So this chicken is quite gently cooked. Since this is a hot pot dish, they also have da liao. I followed their signature sauce for the coconut chicken that they written on the wall. So let's give this a go. I'm very curious how this tastes. This must be bland, right? Was there even salt added? Let's do a bit of white meat. And then a bit of dark meat. Very clean. And something that is interesting is that the chicken is tender. If you recall back in the chicken rice series, right? Almost all the chicken had at least a little bit of chew to it. But here, the reason might be because that this is a 158-day-old 走地鸡, which is free-range chicken, as opposed to the 200 or more days that they normally use for Wenchang chicken. Even so, the difference is stark. The chickeny flavor is not as strong. It's very, very clean, very pure. The base just adds a little bit of sweetness and somehow quite a bit of oiliness. I wonder if it's from the coconut. Now to try with the sauce. The sauce is pretty typical. Soy sauce, garlic, ginger, coriander, spring onions, chili. Let's give this a go. To be honest, I was ready to write it off. It does come across as quite bland, but the flavor is very slow. It builds on you little by little. While I held the thought that this is nothing special, I just couldn't stop eating. The chicken is nice, tender and clean, has that very quiet chicken umami to it. The broth is sweet, reminiscent of an ABC soup because of the corn. Just this very gentle coconutty accent to the meat. And then you spike it occasionally with the sauce, which the lime does a lot. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a 重口味 kind of guy. So if I were to choose between this and mala hot pot, 100% I'm going mala. But I would think this is close to an ideal scenario for somebody who likes a lighter flavor. 吃比较清淡的. Cause the savouriness is light, but the underlying flavors are all there. Full coconut water is interesting. I wouldn't have guessed. It just tastes like a sweeter coconut fragrant kind of soup. And maybe it's from the coconut, but there's so much oil. I say it's light, right? But like the flavor is coating my lips. Very enjoyable. Okay, enough for the 清淡. Let's go for something stronger. The top mentioned meat on this island is none other than the Wenchang chicken. But the close second that is less talked about is the Dongshan Lamb. Dongshan Yang. These lambs allegedly are grazed in the mountains and have access not only to grass, but herbs and shrubs that, you know, supposedly makes the meats magical. So we are here at琼菜之家to try. I ordered it 2 ways. One is 白切, which is a very clean steam version. And the other one is Hongmen, which traditionally means that meat has been given a little color, usually a deep fry, and then braised. Okay, I can't wait anymore. Let's try the white one first. Very interesting, I got some comments. But let me try the Hongmen one first. Well, the claims are true. It's really low in the gaminess, maybe 0. It is the lightest version of lamb I've ever had. Not to say that it's tasteless, I don't think it's possible for lamb to be tasteless, but it only retains a slight sweet flavor of lamb and not the sour way. I mean, to do a clean steam version of lamb, you must be very confident in your product. But while I want to respect that the texture is different from what we usually have, it is still too chewy. It can resist another half an hour, 45 minutes in the pressure cooker. Like there's a line for personal preference, and there's another line where every morsel of meat takes 50 chews. There is not a lot of meat on the table, but I don't know whether I can finish before my jaw gives up. There's occasionally some tender pieces, like this lean meat, but I don't think they're splitting up in the cook. Cause the part with the tendons with the cartilage need way more time. Such a pity because the flavor is very nice. The soup that they put here, they add it when they serve the dish. It is a very MSG heavy herbal kind of taste. It's not necessarily a good soup, but a really nice sauce. This extra sauce that they serve the white one with, a little bit of garlic and a little bit of herbs also, goes really nicely. I buy the hype, but I think there could be a better place for this. I don't know. I'll continue working on this. I'll see you guys at the next place. My brain is being tricked into being full. I don't think I've eaten 200 grams of meat, but I've chewed so much. On the positive side, this gravy has now reduced down with the collagen of the lamb, and it's this really sticky, addictive sauce that goes so well with rice. I'll continue. We are now at Fujie for something quintessential to Hainan, Hainan Fen. This is a rice flour noodle dish that has an assortment of things depending on what you order. I got their Jinpai Hainan Fen, their signature, and there is shreds of beef, there's peanuts, there is pickled veggies, there's coriander, and this very sticky sauce. It looks like our 粗米粉, but this is a different flour, I wanna say. There's a certain elasticity to it instead of the brittle ones that we have. Side note, you also see a very familiar person on the walls. Let's give this a go. The Chongqing Xiaomian comes to mind. So many textures, so many flavors. The ingredients that I missed earlier are bean sprouts, bamboo shoots, sesame seeds, and things that I think I tasted but I cannot tell. There are at least 15 ingredients here. There has a lot of taste, a lot of textures. They even have, oh, one ingredient I missed out. They have the crackers from Yusheng. These little pockets. The noodle is very starchy for some reason. It must be a different flour because the noodles that we have in Singapore are not this starchy. It does very well to bind the sauce. Although it is 粗米粉, right? There is no sauce left. The catching of sauce is perfect. The thing that is different from the Chongqing Xiao Mian is the flavor profile. It is more gentle, it is savory, sweet, and a little bit of black vinegar. The vinegar actually works very well here, along with the preserved veggies. There was also more beef than I thought there would be. When it's shredded like this, it fits in with each bite so well. The Hainan Fen is something that is very open-ended. There is the soup version, there's the dry version, there's the fried version, I believe. We have had some dishes, and will be having dishes that are Hainan specialty, but this is the only one that is popular throughout the island. Something everybody can identify with. I like it more than I thought I will. I mean, let's see what's next. I might have dived a little bit too deep. This is a little bit too OG. We are now at旺胜来加积鸭店, and they don't have 扫码点餐. You have to go up and tell them what you want. They don't have 鸭饭. They sell it by 斤, which is like 500 grams. Everybody is shouting. But anyway, the Jiaji Duck has about the same story as the Wenchangji. These are free-range chickens and ducks. They have access to a plethora of ingredients to graze on that supposedly give a fattier duck. We even have a little bit of blood. If you're wondering what kind of lighting is this, it tells the story. Let's give this a go. I dived too hard. I dived too hard. Well, the claims are true. The Jiaji Duck is really very fatty, less gamey to a small extent, but I can't sugarcoat it. I don't agree with Bai Qie Ya. While duck is nice, leaving it plain and alone, right, is challenging. All you duck lovers, imagine your lu ya without the lu. It's not exactly the most palatable flavor, and the meat is quite tough, already advertised on the brochure. I feel, as much as I want to be nice about it, there's poor technique in the cook. They serve the veggies halfway through, or rather after I finish my meal, because they are overwhelmed today. There's too many people. Although it's not that many. There is like maybe 30, 40 people. It's a full restaurant, but nothing an average restaurant won't be able to handle. They seem quite overwhelmed, but going back onto the technique, the veggies are 出水. The veggies are watery. So this happens when your wok is not hot enough. When you fry, the veggies will start pushing their water out instead of being fried. This is like one of the clearest indicator of poor frying technique. Those of you who have moved out recently, or if you still remember the first time frying your own veggies versus how your grandmother or grandfather used to cook them, you remember the first time being like, wow, I feel like I'm a rabbit. But here, while I see the appeal of the Jiaji Duck, Bai Qie Ya is harsh. It's too challenging already. I'll take lu ya or sao ya any day, even with a poorer duck, even with a frozen duck. The cooking method just lacks too much. But yeah, that's the reality when you food hunt. It cannot be all chop one. You think what? But this one really dived too far. What was I doing inside? Yeah? This one 太地道 already. Let's go more touristy. I'll see you guys are there. In Tokyo, you have Tsukiji. In Seoul, you have Noyanjin. In Hainan, you have wherever the hell we are. Bandeng Haixian Guangchang, I think. And we are here for something specific, the Hele Crab. Famed for its abundance of roe, allegedly because of its habitat, although on paper I don't think it's that different from a normal crab. But in real life, Jesus, the roe, maybe the hype is real. This works similarly to the earlier seafood markets I said. You buy the live seafood in the first floor, and then there'll be staff to help you around. I don't think I got scammed. This went at 80 renminbi per crab. Before the cook, I don't know how much the cook is yet. Y'all will know. Anyway, the crab. I ordered it two ways. One is qingzhen, steam, and one is 炒辣, which is like a chili oil stir fry. I just want to get a bite in. Let's get it. You want me to say something stupid? Okay, I'll say something stupid. The crab very fresh, but it tastes like it looks. The thing that is surprising is that how is there more roe than meat? I don't know my crab anatomy enough. But to move to the next step, Oh my god. It's really roll heaven. God damn. I don't need words. You all know how it tastes. So let's move on to something that might need to be described. The chili version. Alright, ready to go? What's that? The crab? Why is it in Singapore we get absolutely killed when we order live seafood? It's such a pleasure. This would probably cost at least 3 digits, Sing dollar, just like we spent in the Best Food Trail series. And perhaps I would have been kicked out by now if I'm in Singapore, cause got allocated dining window. 1 year already, I still don't want to let it go, are you? But yeah, how should I describe it such that you get a clear picture of what this place is like? Crab is crab. Live seafood, nice. Got it? By the way, there's a huge variety of seafood downstairs. I just went in with the crab because this is, and it might be a little late to say this, one of the Hainan 4大名菜. We featured all 4 today. You all have until cafe o'clock to guess which are the 4大名菜. But Hele Crab is one of them. Okay, wrap it up. See you all at cafe o'clock. We are now at工咖啡, this beautiful cafe overlooking the Hainan skyline. But more interestingly, they have a whole menu of my weakness. Specialty drinks. Normally a cafe has 2 to 6 of these. They have 20. I got the dirty pistachio, which I think is a pistachio milkshake with a shot of espresso. Very pretty. Let's give this a go. I love specialty drinks, man. Blended really well. Nice balance. I like this kind of drinks more than, specialty coffee. It might be a noob opinion, but the enjoyability of this kind of specialty drinks is more obvious to me than something that you need to study for. Anyway, recap. You all figured out the 4大名菜 already? Number 1, Wenchang, obviously, duh. But what I've learned is that even within the Wenchang chicken, there's a lot of variability. Like the tougher ones that we had in Wenchang in the series, to this younger 158 days one, the flavor also differs accordingly. But what I think is common is that they are at the baseline at least good chicken. Little to no stench, good flavor, not bland. The second 大名菜 is Dongshan Lamb, which I buy it. The smell was indeed on the low side, but to call it bluntly, the cook was not great. Both the Bai Qie version and the Hongmen version needed way more time, especially the Bai Qie version, which did not have any additional heat to help it. I said this in one of the previous videos, but just because you say it has a little yao jing, right, doesn't give you an excuse to just leave it rubber. There's a line. I placed that line around 20 to 30 chews for yao jing. 50 is like pushing it already. So while the product was good, I don't think we went to a particularly good place. And then the third 大名菜 is Jiaji Duck. Again, I believe the brochure 70%, but Bai Qie is an objectionable way to prepare duck, in my opinion. If they take the same duck and did a braised dish with it, I think I would enjoy it way more. And obviously, perhaps I've dived a little bit too deep. And then the last 大名菜, which is what we just had, the Hele Crab. You all knew this before I did, but we didn't get killed in the restaurant fee. The whole experience really reminds me of Nyonya Jin. I think it's a pretty good spot, especially if you go as a group, right? You can order more stuff. There were a lot of interesting stuff that I really want to try, but I had to cover the Hele Crab because of the name. Qing Bu Liang was nice, Hainan Fen was nice. Nothing that might wow you, but I think it's worth trying to see what is local here. I don't know enough about these dishes, nor do I have the context to rate them properly. But if I were to choose a favorite one from today, it will be the Hele Crab place. There's a lot of different vendors selling the seafood, and as well as the restaurants upstairs. The one that I went to was called Shengge or something. I suspect that the standard will be similar either way. But if I were to choose something that is most unique to Hainan today, it will be the coconut chicken. Both the quality of the chicken and the handling of the coconut hot pot. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's snapshot of Hainanese food. I would say their cuisine is very similar to ours, albeit with better ingredients. And Hainan in general is beautiful. Yeah, thanks for watching and thanks to Revolut for sponsoring this video. I'll see you guys in the next video.